Gillespie from the out of bounds to the freshman Queen, who's driving, floats it. Oh! Maryland on the right side of a buzzer beater with life into the Sweet 16. One bucket to keep its season alive.
Let's get one more.
From the out of bounds to the freshman Queen, who's driving, floats it. Oh! Maryland on the right side of a buzzer beater with life into the Sweet 16.
What a way to start the Ravery Sports Podcast. That was, yes, sir, Derek Queen. I'm from Baltimore. That's why. And he told him in the post-game interview. That's why he hit a very difficult layup there to get the Terps into the round of Sweet 16 for the first time in many years. Hello, welcome to the Ravery Sports Podcast. This is Charles Harris with Ravery Sports Podcast. Like and subscribe to all of our social media commentary as well. Definitely go on our website, ravorisports.company.site. So definitely check out all of our merchandise as well that we have on there today. Ravens hats, Orioles jerseys. We got an Orioles season coming. We're going to talk about the game tomorrow, the opener in Toronto. Also too as well, Genesis Notary Services in Winchester, Virginia. If you are in the Winchester area, we do apologize to all of you where I had to cancel appointments. I felt terrible about that, but let's be on but we are back. So anybody else out there who needs help with their notary business, we go ahead and we are all squared away. We had to shut it down for about a week there. Now we're back in business. I put on social media, we're back to go, ready to go for anybody out there that needs help. See, Charles Harris, we are LegalShield.com. So if you do need Legal Shield, it is a great vehicle to help you with your notary business. Thank you very much, all of you that have checked out Legal Shield, and definitely those of you continue to do it. And also on draft day. So we're going to do a pre and post. We're going to be here 7:30 right before the draft starts. I'm going to go ahead and watch the draft, check it out with all of you, and we're going to do a post game where I talk about what the Ravens and the rest of the league did in the draft. So we're obviously going to talk college basketball today, starting out like that. But let's talk Ravens. We usually start here with the Ravens, and we're not going to be different today. We're going to do a full roster breakdown. Okay? So, with the Baltimore Ravens, we had season end, off season. Now we're in the off season. We did free agency. We're still waiting on the draft. The roster's starting to take shape. All right. So what is there? So let's kind of look at what's been done with the Ravens already. Let's kind of look at what's going on, give our analysis of the Ravens roster as it's currently constructed. Let's go ahead and take a look. Depth chart, but we'll go over some things, some potential moves here as well. The big one already in the offensive backfield, obviously we know Lamar. The only question is the extension going to get done sooner rather than later? You see Josh Allen getting the extension done. Is Lamar in for an extension as well? We will see if that happens, if he can get an extension. Cooper Rush is a huge backup quarterback upgrade. So that's big. Cooper Rush, I don't care even if it was. Some people were worried about the contract that they were spending like $12 million. So I think it's $12 million with incentives. I think it's like $6 million. I wouldn't care even if it was. You cannot have Josh Johnson as your backup quarterback for another season. So Josh Johnson can go now to the coaching staff or he can be on the practice squad. But if you lose a game or you're in a game, you have Cooper Rush who can definitely get you through a stretch of games. I don't know if Lamar's had this good of a backup since Joe Flacco has been here. So good stuff here, getting Cooper Rush. Derrick Henry's going to be back next season. Hopefully Justice Hill will be there. Justice Hill's been very reliable, really played his way into a meaningful role. Keaton Mitchell, is going to be your third running back. I'm pretty sure Owen Wright may be there as well in the draft. They went ahead and got Ali. They'll be in camp. I think these would be the three if you look at it right now. Project Pat, listen him as a fullback as well, re-signed with the Ravens. So Pat Ricard is going to be back. This might be his last season. He wants to retire as a Raven. They signed a 1-year deal. So maybe this is the last year for Pat Ricard. Wide receiver, tight end outside. Not as much drama as we've had in years past with the wide receiver position. Zay Flowers is going to start with the one. Zay Flowers is going to start the one wide receiver. Rashad Bateman is going to start at the other wide out. So that's pretty much we know. They're both under contract. Flowers, I put it out there. Is he a top 10 receiver now? He's going to get every opportunity to go ahead and feature him there. I think he's the featured guy. Not the tight ends, even though they have good tight ends. He's the featured guy. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be the new addition. He's going to be your third receiver. He's going to replace Nelson Aguilar. I don't think some fans are maybe thinking he's going to be the number one receiver. He's going to be on the field more. I know Lamar wants this, but he's going to be your third receiver as of right now. Deontay Walker picked in the draft last year in the, I think it was 4th round, and Tylan Wallace was there, re-signed. I think Tylan is probably going to be more of a special teams guy so far. Definitely in the draft, I think you'll see a receiver. I don't know where exactly they're going to get one, but I'd be surprised if they didn't take a receiver. They usually carry 6. I'm looking at 5 here. They might get one more here to put on the roster. Mark Andrews is going to start at tight end. Yes, Mark Andrews. They picked up the option. They picked up the money. No question about it. I was more sure of this than a lot of fans were. Mark Andrews doesn't surprise me. He's going to start for them next year. I do think if they trade him, I think if somebody blows him away, they'll trade him. I do think but I don't think any more than any other player. If the Chargers or another team really gives them a high pick or a high second or first round or something like that, something crazy, I think they'll do it. But I think the Ravens kind of see it the way I see it. They don't have to do anything. Why not bring Andrews back and have Likely there as well? Charlie Kolar is going to be back as well. So it's a very good tight end room for the Ravens as well. Interesting, the decision has to be made after this year. Are you going to continue with Andrews or are you going to re-sign Isaiah Likely? I think we're thinking that they may move on to Isaiah Likely at that point. Not as much drama here as we thought. Ronnie Stanley, surprisingly to me, re-signed with the Ravens. He's going to go ahead and start at left tackle for sure. Andrew Voorhees is probably right now, if you do a depth chart right now, number 1 at left guard. Definitely going to have to wait on the draft here. Both guards didn't play well. Daniel Falele, I'm going to be nice because I'll be killing Daniel Falele, but didn't play well last year. Got through the season. I mean, I'll give it to him. Got through the season. I think he played more snaps than anybody on the whole roster of all the guards. I think he played more than anybody else. So definitely going to be looking at a guard. But if the season were to start, that's what they would start. It is possible the Ravens feel good about this and they don't take a guard. I don't think so, but it's not possible that they'll feel good. Tyler Linderbaum, I think it's only a matter of time before he becomes one of the top, if it's not already, he's certainly a top 5 center in the league. Maybe it's only a matter of time, maybe before he comes number 1 best center. And Roger Rosengarten, this is a good move for him. So they signed Stanley back. He gets to stay at right tackle. A little less pressure on him as well. Nick Samak is going to come back. He didn't play at all last year, I think, with injury. So he's going to be in the backup center conversation. Patrick McCary is gone. I would say Ben Cleveland. That is right. I got to tell you, I was shocked that he signed Ben Cleveland back. Shocked. He did come back with no bonus. None. No bonus at all and no promise of a roster spot probably. So he's going to have to fight for his roster spot if he wants to get the $1 million that the Ravens have for him. But he is there. He is probably the most experienced backup. So there's a chance he could make the team. They usually carry 2 more. Probably be shocked in the draft if they didn't take any tight ends. They didn't take anybody at all. Definite area of need. Defensive line. Travis Jones, Justin Matabuke, Broderick Washington. right? Michael Pierce is going to file his retirement paperwork. It looks like June 1st and retire. You may not have maybe the same story. I haven't heard anything yet for Brent Urban. Brent Urban maybe have played his last game in the NFL. So they definitely have 2 open spots on the defensive line after. If they don't carry at least 2, they may carry 3. Heavy draft emphasis going forward, free agent emphasis going forward, because there's definitely holes here they have to fill. You have to have linemen, and I'm only looking at 3 right now on the depth chart. So interesting to see. Although the starting group is fine. Matabuke is out. Matabuke is really good. Travis Jones, Amir, Broderick Washington, I think rebounded a little bit last year. Hasn't lived up to complete expectations, but they're not paying him a whole lot of money. So the starting group is fine. They need some depth pieces there as well. Linebackers, if you want to go ahead and go there. Adafi Owe, Roquan Smith, Trent Simpson. As of right now, you would pencil him in. I don't know how to feel about Trent Simpson right now. I don't know if they feel are comfortable, kind of like similar to Voorhees. Are you comfortable putting him back in the starting lineup, even though he was benched? He really didn't play at all down the stretch at all. So didn't really play at all down the stretch. So it'll be interesting to see how they feel about him. Wouldn't shock me if they took a John Campbell or something like that early in the draft. I don't know. But it is possible if a guy they like is there, inside linebacker early, they could do that. That could fill that spot. Kyle Van Noy for sure is going to start. Kyle Van Noy, I think, was outstanding. Played fantastic last year. David Ajabo. Somebody asked me on online, like, how do I feel about David Ajabo? I think it's over. I don't think there's much there. I think I kind of compared him to Anthony Poindexter, like years ago, former Raven, where Poindexter was a really good player in college, really was on his way to the high draft pick, maybe like first, second round. He got hurt late in the draft process and really wasn't the same. And I think that's the fate of David Ajabo looks like here. I think he'll be on the roster, though. I think, like, the Ravens haven't completely given up because there's no reason for him to completely give up. But I don't think they see him anymore. I'd be surprised if they see him anymore as a guy that's going to eventually take over as well. He's really going to have to show it this year if he can make the roster at all. Tavon Robinson, I think, does. Maybe was playing a little bit at the end of last year. I think maybe he's a guy that you can play in multiple positions, playing him inside a bit. So you can see that. Isaac, we still don't know. We don't have anything. Totally incomplete. Didn't practice, didn't dress hardly in a lot of games. Injured pretty much his whole year. Jake Hummel, I think, is coming in inside linebacker, special teams with the Ravens are going to look at that. That's basically what his job is. You may see him in base sets at inside linebacker, but basically he's a wedge buster, right? He's there to help run the special teams. They did lose Chris Board and Malik Harrison, so they go ahead and sign a Jake Hummel to help them with the special team. That's essentially what his job is going to be there as well. Real quick here, Marlon Humphrey's going to start for the Ravens at one corner. Some saying he's going to spend all his time in the slot. I keep hearing that. I see him move around a bit. I don't think he stays in one spot. So I think, like, there are fans that think he's in the slot all the time. I don't think he's in the slot all the time. I think he moves around a bit. He's going to be back. He's going to be your number one corner. He was trash talking. He was trash talking Malik Harrison for signing with Pittsburgh. Why he had to, so good, man. I like seeing that. Always with the Steelers. Darius Washington is at free safety. Kyle Hamilton's at strong safety, and Nate Wiggins is your starter at the other corner. I think they're fine with the starting group. I think it is going to be a Darius starting next season for sure. It's possible again. That would be the spot if there is a spot, corner, safety in the draft. If they do take a look at somebody, I do see that. If they do have a draft last year, I don't think anybody was expecting Nate Wiggins to get drafted. They did go ahead and take Nate Wiggins in the draft. We'll see about that. I don't want to mess up his name. Chibi Awuzie, free agent. So they just went ahead and signed him. He was released, fans. So what that means, he doesn't count towards the compensation package, right? I'm sure the Ravens are well aware of that. So pencil him in right now. I think he's more of a camp body or something like that as well. We want to see how Jalen Armour-Davis does, Bo Braid, Sesame Kane, and TJ Tampa. So Jalen Armour-Davis, I think, is good enough, I think, as long as he can stay healthy, which he's had trouble staying healthy. But if you can keep Jalen Armour-Davis healthy, he's nothing wrong with Jalen Armour-Davis. He's a fine corner as well. Tough, physical guy, but I think that causes the problem. He's a little bit injury prone. Bo Braid was good on special teams. I think Bo Braid, can play in the league along with Sesame Kane. I think just numbers, having a good strength at that position. They have to play more. That's fine. Again, they probably in the draft, you're going to have guys come in. And TJ Tampa, again, very similar to Adiza Isaac, came in. We don't know. We don't know exactly what we have with TJ Tampa. He didn't play at all last season as well. One more. That's Tucker on the roster, yes. He hasn't been really okay. Justin Tucker hasn't been released. He's still on the roster. I think it's only a matter of time before Tucker is released from the Ravens. I'm thinking for sure if he stays in camp, he's going to have competition. I'd be very, very surprised if the Ravens didn't draft a kicker or get an undrafted kicker to give him competition, not only in light of all the allegations, but the way he played. Jordan Stout is there as the punter. He's going to be back as well. Nick Moore, the long snapper. Again, looks like they're going to go ahead and go another year with Nick Moore. Tylan Wallace. I have him the primary kick punt returner. They took him off of that last year. I don't think Deontay Hardy's going to be back in any capacity. I'm willing to bet they're going to bring in somebody as far as maybe a veteran later or somebody in the draft to compete with Tylan for that spot. Tylan for sure has a roster spot at wide receiver and on special teams. There you go. All right. So what's different? Okay. So you got this is a team that is contending for a Super Bowl that is very, very good. So they are a team that is really looking to go ahead and go all the way. Kansas City may be dipping down in the standings as well. So it may be some room to move for the Ravens to go ahead and get there as well. We still don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. It looks like Aaron Rodgers is probably going to sign with Pittsburgh as well. Excuse me. In that division, they're probably going to have Aaron Rodgers. Kansas City's losing guys. We'll see. I think the two best teams right now, and we haven't done our power rankings yet, but Buffalo and Baltimore maybe have a clash in the AFC Championship game. We'll see. But they went out and got Cooper Rush. I love that. They went ahead and signed him. They went ahead and signed him. They're plugging the holes they need to do. Signing Stanley, signing. So, again, I don't think it's not super sexy because you're not making all these moves, drastically changing things, because it's not necessary. I think you can just go in and get some guys that are going to help your team, without doing drastic changes. So, good job by the Ravens. Go ahead and refining their football team. All right. Well, I wasn't even going to talk about this. Sound like Stephen A, right? I wasn't even going to talk about this anymore because I did touch on it. But I think it is worth talking about because Stephen A. Smith is the top, regardless of what people think, is the number one, I think, sportscaster, you could argue, in the United States right now. Certainly the number one guy at ESPN. Certainly the number one guy for the NBA. And everybody anywhere knows who LeBron James is. LeBron, I think, is the third greatest player in NBA history behind Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. Certainly in the last 20 years, he has been the GOAT. I mean, some people think he's number one. I don't. But I think it's fair enough to say that we think that LeBron is one of the greatest players. And is that true, what I'm saying? We'll get back to that if we see if that's true. Give me a second here. But we're talking about LeBron. So let's go ahead and we're going to get to basketball here, but I want to get to LeBron James today. And what he said. He went on the Pat McAfee show today. So I think that in and of itself was a shot at Stephen A. Smith. There's a Cold War going on at ESPN right now. I'm not going to go too much into that. Between who's the number one guy. If it's not Stephen A. Smith, all the things I said, it's Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee, they brought him in. It's a lot of money that they're spending on him. And apparently looks like they really don't like each other that much. I'm going to get into why this is more important, the larger issue, what I think it is here. But I want to go ahead and go over this what these guys are going to go on full screen here. So this is Pat McAfee, the guy, the number one. I think he has the number one, maybe the number one YouTube show in sports. You could definitely say that on there. Needs no introduction with the great LeBron James. Let's go ahead, listen to them talking about Stephen A.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yep.
Which leads obviously to you and Stephen A. Hey, legit, that feels like a moment that had been brewing for a long time.
He's like on a Taylor Swift
Yeah.
tour right now.
Yeah, we're watching it.
Yep.
We're also,
Oh yeah.
we're all, you're seeing it as well. It's,
He literally, it started off with, I didn't want to address it.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. I didn't want to address it. I wasn't going to address it. But since the video came out, I feel the need to address it.
you would be not to talk about it.
Are you kidding me? If there's one person that couldn't wait to the video to drop so you could address it, it's your ass. Like seriously, it's and like another, he completely like
All right.
missed the whole point. The whole point.
Oh.
Never would I ever not allow people to talk about the sport, criticize players about what they do on the court. That is your job, to criticize or to, be in a position where, okay, if a guy's not performing, that is all part of the game. That's all part of the game. But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but protect the players, and I think a lot of the media, including him, and I know he's gonna be happy as hell. He's gonna be smiling from ear to ear when he hears me talking about it. Oh my God, he's gonna get home and grab some ice cream out of the fucking freezer and sit in his chair and his tidy whities on the couch.
I hope at some point you two do get a chance. But you're right.
Dude, like relax, bro. Like relax. Like seriously.
So that was the GOAT LeBron James talking about Stephen A. Smith here. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen that one already. I'm going to show you maybe what you haven't seen yet here. Maybe you have, but this came on right before I went on tonight, because he was talking about this. He was talking about this right before I came on tonight, the response to this. So maybe this went as viral as well. So let's go ahead and check him out here. So this is Stephen A. responding to the McAfee appearance here. And I'm just going to give it a few seconds here, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on it. All right, here's Stephen A. responding to LeBron.
Immediately. That man put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him. Immediately. That man put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him. Immediately.
I don't believe that.
That man.
That was the whole rant. I didn't want to go too over with that, because that whole rant, that was Jason Whitlock right on LeBron. called him a liar, called him a whole bunch of names, called him all this stuff. I have never seen anybody talk about LeBron James like that ever. I never ever seen it. Never seen it. So that was wild. I do want to address this. I see this in the wrestling business a lot. I watch a lot of WWE and all that, etc. For those of you who don't know who Dave Meltzer is, he's a wrestling writer. He's been a wrestling writer for 30 years. He used to have the Wrestling Observer newsletter. You actually used to get it in the mail. He used to write about the wrestling business and all that, etc. And the wrestlers would get mad at him for saying certain things in the newsletter. And I see the same thing in the NBA, where not as much in the NFL, They don't really openly go at guys, not like I see it public, but a lot of the players go at Stephen A for what he says and I know a lot of y'all don't like Stephen A and all that other stuff. That's fine. But here's where I'm a little lost at. If I'm LeBron James, right? I got a better job than the president of the United States. LeBron James is what, $50 million a year with the Lakers. He's in this long marriage, beautiful wife. He's got, the run of the lake. He's in Los Angeles. He's richer than God. He's like he's got all this money. What I can't understand is the same thing in the wrestling business with wrestlers and Cody and Roman. Why do they care at all what he thinks and what he says? I understand us as fans, and I think that's who it's for. But I don't, for the life of me, understand why LeBron give this any oxygen, give Stephen A any oxygen at all. Because Stephen A isn't, because he's not. I can understand what we do as fans. We want to be informed. We want to talk about the games. We want to be part of the discourse. We want to be part of the thing. But if I'm LeBron James and all that is true, why do I care at all? What Stephen A has ever said. And to take his time, and there was a shot in itself going on McAfee's show, as it was. That was not an accident, right? McAfee isn't even a basketball guy. I mean, he was an NFL punter. So it was intentional to go on after Stephen A went off the air to actually do the show in Indiana. After Stephen A went off the air and he couldn't respond till later and all that. So apparently they have this long-running feud now that's out in public where they don't like each other and all that, etc. So definitely check out the Stephen A rant. It's hilarious. I've never heard anybody talk about LeBron James like that. But the fact is, players get to express themselves anywhere they want. They don't have to talk to me. They don't have to talk to Stephen A. LeBron doesn't have to talk to him. He doesn't have to like him. He doesn't have to do that. I think to take it to the other side, the reporters have to understand that. Commentators have to understand that. They don't have to talk to you. They don't have to like you. They don't have to reach out. They don't have to do that. That happens to me all the time. Reach out, want to speak to somebody, they don't have to do that. So I think that's part of why Stephen A is all upset at him, because LeBron doesn't do what he wants and all that, blah, blah, blah. He had a good relationship with Michael and all that. He was hoping to have a good, I don't know. That's totally speculative on my part. But I think there are, for the life of me, the overarching thing is, I don't know why LeBron would ever care what Stephen A says. I don't get it. It was funny, though. It was very entertaining on both sides. I think it's a very interesting story to see these two heavyweights, one in media and one as an athlete, actually go at it today. Wasn't expecting to talk about it, but we for sure are going to talk about this one. The Terps getting it done. How about that? So let's go over this as well. I think we got the most video here we've ever had in Ravery Sports here going over it. So let's talk about the games this weekend. So on the screen, the 1-point victory, Colorado State over the Terps over Colorado State, 1-point victory as well. I think let's talk about the whole weekend. Let's talk about the whole weekend. Thursday, they played Grand Canyon University. I thought that was a game was well in hand. I thought that was a good opportunity for Kevin Willard to go ahead and rest players. Kevin Willard to go ahead and rest players and give his starters a chance to rest, rather, and actually play. DHS played. Jordan Geronimo played as well. That's very interesting there as well. So we'll go ahead and check that out as well. The game Saturday, I thought Colorado State and Maryland, I thought that was one of the best games I ever saw in college basketball, certainly from a Maryland Terps perspective. Back and forth as well. Both sides, I thought, played well. They both hit great shots towards the end. Something's going on with Kevin Willard. I keep seeing this on Twitter. So I don't know yet. Maybe we'll find out here at the end of the stream here. But I thought he turned the job down. I'm kind of looking at that at the same time. I thought he turned the job down as well. Something's going on with Kevin Willard. I can't even repeat this tweet. blank Kevin Willard. Hope you break every bone in your body. What is going on, Kevin Willard? It looks like I'm going to say it out loud because I've seen it too many places now. It looks like Kevin Willard may be leaving, going to Villanova. We will see with that. So we'll get back to that. But one of the best games in college basketball I think I ever saw. I thought both sides played tremendous. You saw it at the opening where Derek Queen hit the fadeaway. That is one of the tough shots. Clark Kellogg said, if you were to shoot that jumper the way it is, going away from your body off of 1 foot and hit it, you can't hit that shot with nobody guarding you in the gym. That's how hard of a shot that is to hit, let alone the situation there as well. That is unbelievable to hit a shot like that. So I think it was one of the best shots like that. What's even cooler is what he said in the post game after that. So let's go to that real quick. Why he had so much confidence to go ahead and hit the shot in the postgame. So let's go to Kevin Willard after that tremendous victory against the Rams.
There was a timeout. You said, I'm not going to say the full thing, but you said, get me the ball when he came out of the timeout. Where does that confidence come from?
I mean, so I think I'm from Baltimore. That's why.
I'm from Baltimore. That's why.
I kind of had it going all game. Man, my teammates had it going, and like I said, like they trusted me to take that last shot.
Derek Queen, phenomenal in this game. Phenomenal all season. Phenomenal in this game. Down the stretch, really came into his own. He was the one demanding the ball. Great players in that situation demand the basketball in that situation. So that's what he did. Was it traveling? Fair question. If you saw the shot, a lot of people were saying it was traveling. There's a case to be made it was. I'm not going to not say it wasn't for sure because I'm a Maryland fan. If you think Euro step is traveling, then it was traveling. But I looked at it like 15 times today. Look, he could call that when he had the ball. The first one, he had a basketball move. So you could call that not a step. If you call the Euro step not traveling yet. But he definitely took 1, 2, 3 steps. If you're calling that a travel, some people might, certainly a Colorado State fan would call it that. It was a travel. But in that situation, I kind of agree. It was so close. Game situation. I don't think they're going to call something like that in that situation. Look, and good players travel. I don't care. Michael Jordan did it for years. Kobe Bryant did those elbows for 1,000 years. People don't like hearing that, but that's true. So they did that. So shout out to the Terps. Exciting win. I didn't get to see the very end because I was actually in the car with my daughter picking her up from work. So I actually was listening to it in the car. My daughter, she was mad. Turn the music back on. No, we're not turning it back on. We're going to listen to that Terps victory. And we got a game, consequently, on the 27th. So opening day of the MLB, and you got that night, you get to watch the Terps at the Chase Center on TBS in the Sweet 16s against the Florida Gators as well. So Derek Queen is going to be playing in this game. They now call themselves the Crab Five. The outstanding starters for Maryland: Seton Miguel, Derek Queen, obviously, Jacoby Bolesky, Rodney Rice, and Julian Reese. So they are going to hit the starters. On the other side, I think maybe a guy who's going to be one of the Naismith Players of the Year, Walter Clayton, 23 points in the game against UConn, which was eliminated. Thank God, Dan Hurley, we ain't got to look at that anymore. And Will Richard is a starter for them. Alex Corden, so they score a lot of points. Very similar. They run. This is going to be back and forth. The Terps, if they want to win this game, I think you got to slow it down as good as they were. William Clayton Sr. is one of the – he reminds me so much. I've been saying it all tournament, watching him looking like Reggie Miller. Like, he's got that really quick, goofy-looking shot, but uber quick release. Like, can't get in front of him. He doesn't need much time to set up, catch it quick, shoot, set up quick, like this. And he's got great foot speed, runs around guys, gets to the hole. Hops isn't awesome like a Johns at St. John's, but it was unbelievable the way he's played so far in the tournament. So big challenge for Maryland. So definitely it'll be interesting to see what's going on. I'm definitely going to check and see what's going on with Kevin Willard here, because this basically is happening here right now. But man, they are just killing him on Twitter right now. Like Kevin Willard, I hope this isn't true that he's leaving in the middle of a tournament. I hope this isn't true, whatever. But I don't know that. I can't confirm that yet. But either way, we're going to have a game. Terps are going to go ahead and play against the Florida Gators. Definitely check it out. So definitely the same days we're starting baseball, we're going to be starting with the NCAA tournament that day as well. So definitely check that out. Rest of the tournament has been very good as well. Some people have been criticizing the tournament as well because of the lack of the Cinderella. Okay. I mean, there's been some really good games. I really enjoyed Arkansas and St. John's. That surprised me, the result of that game. Calipari getting the win. I thought St. John's really played bad. They shoot well, and they just didn't. R.J. Johns getting sat down the last section of the game by Rick Pitino in the last 5 minutes. Doesn't bother me at all. You got to make shots. Some people say you don't sit your best player. Obviously, they never played for Rick Pitino. He certainly understands that as well. I thought that was great. I thought Duke was very good both games as well. So the tournament has been fairly enjoyable. I've been more locked in too because we got a Terps team actually in the tournament. So I thought this was a good tournament. It's not for everybody. I get that. So that's why we don't necessarily always spend as much time talking NCAA tournament. But it's not for everybody. But I thought we've had some good stuff so far as well. So let's go ahead and talk a little baseball. Let's switch because we got a game here coming up. So this is the last in our series. The graphic is working. Last week it didn't work at all at the end. Sometimes you're using StreamYard and it corrupts your slides. Like you can't pull them up. You can't do anything. Like that'll happen sometimes. So, but this time it did work. I did load them all up, check them because I was actually home today. From work more today than I usually. Usually I'm just right getting in, but I was actually home, so I actually got a chance to check it out. But let's go over this. Top 10 managers in MLB in 2025. So this is a little bit more subjective. This is the last of our top 10 series preseason, because the season is about to start. We're going to go over the Orioles game here in a minute, the game tomorrow, the opener. But let's go ahead and go over the top 10 managers who are the top 10 managers. Subjective, but one thing I look at is win-loss record, expectation of the team, etc., and how they do on the margins, how they do in certain situations. Sometimes when you're doing manager lists like this, you're almost sometimes being unfair to managers with consistently really good teams, because the expectation is more or whatever. So sometimes, like in anything, managers don't get as much credit as they would in normal situations. So let's go ahead and do that and check that out. So let's go ahead and go over this. Still looking at the Kevin Miller thing. All right. So number 10, Matt Quantrill of the Royals. He was the manager of the year in the American League last year for the Royals. Did very well with them last year. Royals have been rebuilding for a long time. Historically, they have never been a team with a lot of money. Even in the 80s when they've had good teams, even prior years when they had good teams, won a World Series. It's been on the margins, build up, build back down, even when they had George Brett. So they need a guy like Quantrill. Quantrill, I thought, was fantastic last year with them developing Bobby Witt, developing a lot of those young pitchers that they have, Cole Ragans. So definitely can put him in the top 10. Not a long resume of success, but definitely what he did last year, I got no problem putting him in the top 10. May be good for years to come. About 51 years old. Here's a former Oriole, Bob Melvin, in the A's uniform with the San Francisco Giants as a manager as well. Melvin's been good for a while. You could tell it when he was a former player. A lot of catchers make great managers. See the whole field. Spend his career, especially a lot of times, backup catchers like he was. He was Mickey Townsend's, I remember, backup as a Baltimore Orioles. When he played for the Orioles, see the whole field. He sees the whole field. He sees a lot there as well. And as a manager, you kind of see that. Really works on the margins as well. Really good with pitching staffs. His pitching staffs are consistently good no matter where he's been. Whether in Oakland, the Giants, or whatever, he has trouble with offense. Like a lot of times, his pitching staffs are consistently good. I like Melvin. Had a lot of success. Hasn't really won the whole thing yet, so I can't put him higher. But definitely the Giants manager at number 8. Brian Stinker of the Braves. I put that graphic wrong. He's with the Braves still. He's not with the Braves. Other people seem to like him more than I like him in his terms. Heard him. He's just top of the league, best. I kind of take him down a bit because I'd like to see a little bit more consistency in one area. I think managers are really great, are consistent all the time in one area. His teams are usually good, but he usually has good to work with as well. But I got no problem with him. I think the Braves would keep along tenured managers. I think Sticker has done a very good job with them. I think the players do listen to him, respect him. So I have him at 8. Based on everything he's done, I got no problem putting him at 8. Craig Counsell. Here's a guy very much respected. I messed that one up again. He's not. I got 2 Brewers managers. Cubs. So many years with the Brewers. Craig Counsell, as a manager, was well on the margins. Very impressed with Counsell. Probably him and Kevin Cash, I think, are the 2 best on the margins. Pitching staff. You don't see a Craig Counsell team without a good pitching staff, and you always see it. He always works a lot with less. He's very good at getting his order, getting the most out of his batting order, getting the most out of what's there. So that's why the Cubs hired him. I think he went to the Cubs, because they have a few more resources, and that'll get him to the promised land, etc. I think he feels he can win a World Series better with Chicago than he did with Milwaukee. That's why I think he's went there. But Council, I think, is great. Still no World Series on his resume. Still no World Champ on his resume quite yet. But he's been really good, I think, as a manager. Great winning percentage for them. Here's a guy that has gotten his team all the way through. A.J. Hinch of the Detroit Tigers, formerly of the Houston Astros. So, look, kind of got ran out of Houston because he's cheating, the whole cheating scandal. I will say with Hinch, his teams are good. There's no other way to slice it. People are going to be critical of this one, but, like, his teams always win. There's no other way to say it. A.J. Hinch, definitely, he won a World Series in 2017, won 117 games, so many years as well. Already with the Tigers, nobody wanted the job with the Tigers. He goes in, takes it. Tigers are already better than what they were. Record as a manager, I think, is very, very good. I think A.J. Hinch is a winner. His teams win. Some guys, I mean, there's no other way to say it sometimes. Sometimes there's no other way to say it as a manager sometimes that other than his teams win. But look, he's what? 525 winning percentage as a manager. I think he's good. I think he's already turning the Tigers around, had a lot of success. Did cheat though in Houston. No question about it. So, but there's no question about it though. But definitely I'm putting Hinch in the top 10. Won a World Series, on a good managing a good team now. No question about it as well. Torey Lovato of the Arizona Diamondbacks. So he has got a good opportunity this year. I think the Diamondbacks are a really good team. This guy's been a manager for a while now in Arizona. So this is year, I think, 8, 9 for him as a manager. And he's had good teams. I mean, the whole time. His winning percentage is 489 total. But I think I think it looks like he's had mostly winning seasons there. One in 2017, 2018, 2019, winning season 2023, 2024, for sure this year. So as he's had some horses, he gets it done. I definitely believe he's one of the better managers, I think, in the league. I think with enough talent, though, I think he can he get his team all the way through to the World Series and win it? That's the only question that I have with Torey Lovato. But I think Torey Lovato, I have him at number 5. I definitely would want him managing my team. Number 4, I think this guy's going to be forever underrated. I think Yankee managers definitely are, simply because they have resources, right? So you're playing with Aaron Judge on your team. So some people are just going to be like, well, you had Aaron Judge, et cetera, et cetera. Went out to the Sunday Night Baseball booth. Not a lot of experience as a manager when he took the job. But look, he's won 90-something games, I think, every year. The worst year he's had is 82. So you can't be that bad as a manager if you're winning that many games. Like, I understand he's got the talent. This is kind of why I don't have him higher. But Boone, I understand the game of baseball. Boone absolutely understands. A little bit like Joe Torre, kind of likes to lay in the back. Doesn't like to, you don't see him arguing with the umps and all that other stuff, like Stinker and all that other stuff. But I definitely a guy that understands the game and gets results. No question about it. Number 3 is Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts is definitely one of the coolest guys you ever want to meet. Kind of like LA. When I was younger, I used to like watch the Lakers and watch Pat Riley and think that Pat Riley was cool. I kind of feel the same way about Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts never gets too up or too down. Got his teachers. He goes out there and he wins a lot of games as a manager. There's no question about it. I think you might could put him at 1, but again, it's easy to manage a really good team. It's maybe easy is the wrong word. Not hard to manage a good team with all that talent, but to manage the egos, manage the things, manage the A lot of guys want to play. A lot of guys have egos. You got to match that. So you kind of got to have that Phil Jackson quality. But look, I mean, Dave Roberts has won, 90 games, I think 8 or 9 times at this point. So obviously he's getting results. Does have a good team for sure. But Dave Roberts, number 3. Kevin Cash, I think, is fantastic. He has done more with less than anybody I've ever seen. The same thing I knew was true with Joe Madden when he left. Really worried about that. They hired another version of Joe Madden. Works with what's there. Always has good pitching staff. Always his teams, even with no offense, no money. I think this is the least funded team maybe in all the major 3 sports, the Tampa Bay Rays. And the success that Kevin Cash has had, I'm even having a harder time holding the fact that he hasn't won a world title against them there. I think he's fantastic. Kevin Cash is number 2, but number 1 is Bruce Bochy. I think Bochy is the number 1 manager in all of baseball. So much success in San Francisco all those years as well. I think he's won more games than anybody active as a manager. I think Bruce Bochy is fantastic. He's won a world title in San Francisco and with Texas. So I got Bruce Bochy, number 1 manager in all of baseball. There you go. This Kevin Willard thing is kind of hijacking the stream, but we're still going to talk about the Orioles here. Opening day is here. So we got the Terps game tomorrow night, and we got Orioles game today. And we got an Orioles game tomorrow afternoon, and let's go ahead and go over that. The Orioles are going to go ahead and start the season tomorrow in the Skydome. I'm ready to play. Better known, formerly known as Skydome, Rogers Center, and it's here. So we got our first game of the season as well. What are we going to see tomorrow? No Gunnar Henderson in this game tomorrow. So we're definitely not going to have Gunnar at all tomorrow in this one. You are going to see Adley Rutschman in this game. So Adley is going to go ahead and start. He's going to be there. I think probably they're going to look to him to carry the offensive load more in this one as well than he's been, because you obviously have no Gunnar Henderson tomorrow. Who is going to play shortstop tomorrow? It's going to be Jackson Holliday. So Jackson Holliday is going to be playing short, most likely. He's been working at short. In his place at second, you've had Jordan Westberg playing second. So don't be surprised to see Jordan Westberg at second. Urias most likely starting at third base tomorrow in Toronto. So I predicted that. That's going to come out. We're going to see, obviously, when the lineups come out tomorrow. But that's probably what we're going to see for the first 10 or so, for the first 2 weeks without Gunnar Henderson. You're going to see Jackson Holliday going ahead and playing tomorrow. Also, too, keeping an eye on it, too. Does look like Cowser is going to be in left. Tyler O'Neill is going to be in right. So O'Neill played left with the Red Sox. They're going to leave Cowser in left, and they're going to put O'Neill in right to replace Anthony Santander as well. Zach Eflin gets the nod. He's going to start tomorrow. 10-9, 3.60 ERA. He is going to start for the Orioles in this one. He's going to have to be the war daddy this year. Like, with all respect to Max Scherzer on the other side. 10-9 last year. He was nothing but good last year with the Orioles. Nothing but good. So he was very, very good. He's worthy of this. I think he's a guy very good in Toronto, very good with the Rays before, good at the end of last season. You're not going to have Grayson possibly at all this year. You're not going to have Grayson at all this year. You're going to have good effort from Zach Eflin. You are going to have Felix Bautista tomorrow in the game, if needed, if they have a save situation. Cade Povich should start in the opener on Monday, the home opener as well. First regular season Orioles report next week. Vladimir Guerrero, is he going to finish the season in Toronto? He's definitely going to play tomorrow. I think Vladdy's going to have a monster year. He can't be more motivated. Unlikely he signs in Toronto. I do think he is going to go ahead and play for his next contract. He's definitely looking for Soto type money. I absolutely think he's going to be playing. This is the guy that Eflin is going to have to get out the most tomorrow. Familiar face. Yes, in left field. They're going to leave George Springer in right. They're going to have Anthony Santander in left. He does not play super well in Toronto, which is interesting why he signed with Toronto, because historically he hasn't played well there. But he's going to be playing here every day. Maybe he'll get a little bit more mojo there. We will see how he does tomorrow in the opener. For sure, we're going to talk about that as well. The Blue Jays rotation, I think, has missed differing opinions. I think it's okay. It's solid. Berrios gets the start in the opener. 16 and 11, 360, 30 years old, right-hander. Jose Berrios is going to start. Thank you, Mrs. Ravery.
You're welcome.
All right. Huh?
One time?
Thank you. Mrs. Ravery getting a drink here at the end of the stream. All right. So Berrios gets the start tomorrow. He's going to start for the Orioles. So good 2 starting pitchers as well. Blue Jays 74 and 88 last year as well. Could this also be the last games we see on the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network, who could be going under or shifting in 2025? So definitely we're going to have that. Bob Carpenter retiring after this year. So Orioles, what happens tomorrow? I think they really have some issues. I think a lot of fans are kind of overlooking a lot of the issues that the Orioles have. You're not going to have Burns this year. You may not have Grayson this year. You're not going to have Gunnar here at the start. Mateo is going to be held back. I think Mateo's not going to be there as well, if you consider that a loss. So a lot of issues going on. Toronto, I think the bigger issue with them is I think their main guy is looking for the door, which is a problem. I think Vladdy's looking to get paid. He's not going to get into Toronto. The tax situation in Toronto, I think, is an issue. So I think he wants to go elsewhere. I think it is a very good chance they get off to a slow start. They could implode here quickly. But we'll see how it goes tomorrow. Happy opening day, everybody. So definitely there's a lot to celebrate here tomorrow. Opening day, home opener on Monday. Cade Povich is going to start against the Red Sox as well. Good out for him getting to start the home opener. So, happy opening day, Oriole fans. Thank you very much for joining us here on a Ravery Sports podcast as well. Definitely check out Twitter and put in Kevin Willard to watch all the Turf fans call Kevin Willard every curse word as well. It could be taking a job with Villanova of all places. So I thought Villanova, they were hiring Richard Pitino, but it looks like he's going to Xavier. So there's a wild, wild west going on right now. Thank you very much for joining us here. Y'all have a great week. Enjoy all the games.